This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by the good folks over at ease.com, California's top one-stop website for legal marijuana delivery. One of the things that Ease customers love about visiting ease.com on the regular is their ever-dynamic offering of special deals. Right now, Ease is celebrating the summer season with a raft of super great discounts on everything from pre-rolls and flower to vape cartridges and G-Pack inserts, which you can get for 20% off. It takes just a minute or two to place an order through ease.com and less than an hour to actually take delivery. Take some of the work out of getting your favorite legal California marijuana products by letting Ease do the driving for you. Ease only works with the top dispensaries in their active areas, so you know you're in for a great customer experience. Find out for yourself just how easy it can be to get legal marijuana products delivered to you in California by opening up ease.com, spelled E-A-Z-E. Big thanks to everyone over at Ease for the support that makes today's news possible. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Monday, July 30th, 2018, and you're tuned in to episode 538 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Our top story today starts us off in Oklahoma, where on Friday, a new set of proposed rules to govern the state's nascent medical marijuana program was released by state regulators. We've been all over the storyline in recent weeks as a now scuttled version of the proposed rules took the extreme step of requiring that medical marijuana dispensaries have a licensed pharmacist on staff 40 hours a week and banning the sale of smokable cannabis. Those rules also would have imposed a limit on the THC content in medical marijuana products. Thankfully, those three controversial rule changes were not included in the new set of guidelines released on Friday. You can click over to Marijuana Business Daily's story for a link to the full set of new proposed rules yourself. The Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authority is expected to vote on those rules sometime this week. With another headline of a policy reversal, we have the Canadian province of Ontario reversing a previously announced plan to set up a government-controlled monopoly on legal marijuana dispensaries. Canada is running full tilt towards an October 17th switch over to fully legal adult use marijuana and has left much of the details for how that will actually work up to its individual provinces. Ontario's provincial government previously had announced that all of its dispensaries would be operated by the government-owned Liquor Control Board. Under the new plan, which is expected to be formally announced sometime this week, Ontario will also issue a limited number of licenses for privately owned and operated dispensaries. The government will maintain control of legal cannabis distribution as well as online sales. Our final top story today is another one of change, as Christian Bax, director of Florida's Office of Medical Marijuana Use, just announced that he was stepping down from his position. Mr. Bax has popped up in the headlines a large number of times in his 3-year tenure, mostly because of complaints of how bad of a job he was doing at leading his department. Mr. Bax will be around through August 10th and will be replaced on an interim basis by his deputy director, Courtney Coppola. The multi-year rollout of Florida's medical marijuana program could easily be characterized as a hot mess, with lawsuits, numerous delays in licensing, and bad policy decisions like the banning of smokable cannabis conspiring to drag down patient access. If Mr. Bax truly was as bad at his job as it appears, you gotta ask whether his blunders were deliberate. I guess if we see news of him going to work for the prohibitionists over at Project Sam, we'll get an answer to that question. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz it on headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, Ease.com, California's top one-stop website for legal marijuana delivery. Ease.com is the go-to website for legal California marijuana products that are properly tested, packaged, and labeled. Ease has a huge variety of product types and brands that run the full price point spectrum, which is great for people looking to make their cannabis dollars stretch and for those who are looking for top shelf picks. Whether you need flower, concentrates, edibles, topicals, CBD pet products, consumption accessories, pre-rolls, vape cartridges, drops, sprays, capsules, or high-end vaporizers like the packs, open up ease.com and, assuming that you live in a part of California where they're active and that it's during legal delivery hours, get your order going. That's ease.com, spelled E-A-Z-E, for all of your legal California marijuana product delivery. All right, time for the blitz. The Orange County Register picked up on some big news out of California. Last week, the California Bureau of Cannabis Control released data showing that 20% of all tested batches of legal marijuana failed to comply with the new stricter testing standards that went into effect on July 1st. Those standards set new limits for levels of pesticides as well as contamination from bacteria and other harmful chemicals. Right now, there are just 31 licensed labs in the Golden State, all of which have been slammed with work since the turn of the month. In all, those labs have run 5,268 official tests, of which 1 in 5 have failed. This is a good one to open up in full. Swing over to the OC Register for more. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com and on our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily. Mr. Tom Angel over Marijuana Moments picked up on a soon-to-be-introduced congressional bill that would protect federal workers from being fired if they fail a drug test for cannabis. The bipartisan measure is to be introduced by Congressman Charlie Crist of Florida, a Democrat, and Drew Ferguson of Georgia, a Republican, and would afford most federal workers protection from termination due to marijuana use as long as they are fully in compliance with their state's medical or adult use cannabis laws and not found to be under the influence while on the job. NJ.com is a full list of the 20 people appointed to a working committee that will study the issue of legalizing adult use marijuana. The committee was just formed by New Jersey State Attorney General Gurbir Grewal, who got a lot of industry attention recently for asking state prosecutors to pause their work charging people with small-scale marijuana crimes. On Friday, AG Grewal issued a statement to the media about his committee, which reads in part, quote, "This working group will review how the municipal prosecutors under my supervision can contribute responsibly to the progressive solutions we are seeking," unquote. Pop over to NJ.com to see the full list of committee members, especially if you're involved at all in that state's market. On Friday, a legal marijuana dispensary owner and investor in Nevada talked about the demographic makeup of his shop's best customers and how it leans towards the older side of the age spectrum. Fernando Leal owns dispensaries in Reno and Carson City, Nevada, and also talked about the expansion of patient access during the taping of a local TV show, saying, quote, "Now we're seeing well over 1,000 people a day at our 2 dispensaries, and I think recreational access has done more for medicinal use than the medical card program could have ever hoped to do," unquote. According to reporting by the Daily Press, white people in Virginia charged with small-level marijuana crimes are far more likely to be let off easy on their first offense than if they were black. Daily Press reporters looked at court data for marijuana crimes in Virginia and did a great job of quantifying how bad racial bias is within the court system. Even though just 20% of Virginia residents are black and that the rate of marijuana use doesn't change much across racial boundaries, in some parts of the state, 80% of all small-scale marijuana crimes are leveled against black people. While I would hope that no regular listener is surprised to hear that racial bias is prevalent in the justice system, it's always a good idea to get the exact numbers to show just how bad. You can't track something if you don't measure it. Open up this one and read in full. And finally for today, Tom Angel grabs another spot with news of the Congressional Black Caucus calling for the end of the federal war on marijuana as part of a 10-item list for things they want to see changed should the Democrats take back control of the U.S. House of Representatives in the fall. Besides allowing states the full right to experiment with legalized marijuana, the CBC would also have new laws passed that would direct federal funding into community reinvestment funds to build up places that have historically suffered the brunt of the government's war on marijuana, as well as new laws that would eliminate drug-related mandatory minimum sentences. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily and visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. What do you call a keyboard with good morals? An upright piano. Thanks to our sponsor, Ease, and to all of our awesome patron listeners for the support that makes this show possible, and for listening to my awesome jokes. To join the lesser strengths of the patron listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in, starting your day with marijuana today. Today.
One take, Shay. One take.